what does vulnerability and authenticity look like in our daily lives and in relationship? Before I actually dive into this, I want to actually define what those words mean, at least how I understand those words. So, vulnerability. There's different words, the synonyms that I use typically when I use that interchangeably with the word vulnerability. So vulnerability could also be interpreted as transparency, openness, or just radical honesty, right? So the definition that I gave for this word vulnerability is allowing oneself to be open to express intimately with others, especially something that is private, in an attempt to connect with others on a deeper level. So the last piece is really critical. To share something private in an attempt to connect deeper, to connect with someone else on a deeper level. Now, why is that important? Because there's been, I mentioned this shift from survival to authenticity, this shift. So the way we interpret this word vulnerability, it used to be a negative word, and now somehow it's becoming a positive word. Why is that? You could also look at the shift from from fear to love. So now, that's why the word vulnerability, at least now, is becoming more of a positive thing, and it's becoming more encouraged for men or for business or for whatever to be vulnerable. Now, why is that? The reason is because in the past, vulnerability used to be perceived as a weakness. If the other guy knows my weakness or knows where I'm vulnerable, where I have something, he can take advantage of that, and then he could do harm to me, or he could, run me out of business if it's a business context, or if my partner knows that, I have this issue and I tell them that, then they can use it against me, and So basically, before, when you're coming from a fear-based paradigm, you're afraid of telling or revealing something about yourself because you're afraid it'll be used against you. Whereas in the new paradigm, when we're talking about love or authenticity, here we're actually encouraged and want to share because that's an opportunity for us to connect with other people on a deeper level. And the idea of vulnerability is that it serves connection. That's really the whole purpose of vulnerability, is so that we can connect deeper. Because there's connection and disconnection. When we hold something back, we ultimately are saying that there's something wrong with that part, or there's something wrong with that part, or there's something wrong with that thing, and we feel uncomfortable with sharing that. And I know there's some certain situations where you don't want to share something in a business or professional situation, sure, but I'm speaking here on relationship, and in a relationship, typically, if you want to have a connection, a very deep connection with someone, in my view, I would want to know them on 100. I want to know them 100% of who they are. Good, bad, ugly, beautiful, all the parts of them I would want to know, because then I can connect to them on that level. Whereas if I hold something back because I don't want to show some ugly sides of me, that from something happened with me in my past or some person I don't like, if I hold those back, then I'm essentially robbing them a chance to connect with me, and I'm robbing a chance for myself to connect with myself. So there's this disconnection that happens. The other point is with vulnerability is that the reason why it's still not becoming adopted as easily is because vulnerability actually requires courage. We think that vulnerability is a weakness, but if we look at it as a strength, and for men to actually share about their emotions, share about their feelings, share about what's happening or what happened with them in the past, that's very scary, because for men especially, it's they don't want to be perceived as weak, because men in tradition have been sort of told to be these strong, stoic, these supermen that are invincible, right? That they can handle anything that gets thrown at them. So it's a very different way of approaching how we relate to the opposite sex, or the opposite polarity, as I like to call it.